Welcome to Afternoon Express. Now, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and to celebrate romance, I am chatting to the power couple, Mohang and Chantal Moeko. We'll also be talking to counsellor Sadia Southgate about the importance of relationships for our overall well-being. And then we'll also be touching on the ins and outs of work relationships with Utato Mabelane. But let's get started with our gorgeous, gorgeous couple. Mohang and Chantal, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, I should actually say, Mohang, welcome back.
Yeah.
And Chantal, what took you so long?
I don't know, hey?
No, but now that you're here, we're here to celebrate you. We're here to celebrate your careers individually and your life as a couple. Now, Mohang, you and I go way, way, way back, and Mzansi does not need any introduction to you and your incredible work from Isono to Seriously Single. Where did your start in the industry begin?
It started, the very first show that I got cast on was Zabalaza, which was a soapy. Yeah, that was my start. And that came after hundreds of auditions. I'm talking like I used to actually list all the auditions I went to. And when I got to 100, I stopped counting. And then I went to many more, and eventually I booked my first role. So yeah, Zabalaza was my first one, and since then it's just been...
Have you always wanted to work on the stage?
Yeah. I've always loved film and TV. I think that comes from my family and the kind of shows and films I was exposed to at a young age. First thing I remember watching was like Jim Carrey and
The Mask.
Yeah, well, actually, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was the first thing, and I didn't get the concept of being an actor, but I just knew that something about these characters was attractive to me.
Well, you have definitely made your mark on the South African entertainment industry, and I cannot wait to see what 2024 has in store. And then we go to the wellness queen, Chantal, honey. One thing about you, whenever I go onto Chantal's social media pages, I get anxiety immediately. I feel like I'm not doing enough, honey. You work in the wellness space, motivation, whether it's diet, whether it's working out, and just being your best, authentic, well-rounded self. Yeah. Why is it so important for you to work with women and inspire us in this way?
Well, I think, growing up, I've always been surrounded by strong, powerful women, and I know that women play a very important role in society. So being the strength and support of society, I feel like we need some TLC, we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And so I've always been drawn to just helping women, see that their health is important, that they need to live a wholesome life. That's something that I'm really big on right now.
Yeah, and you articulate that eloquently and perfectly on your pages, and that is why I love a couple like you, because it seems like each person runs their own race in their own lane. No one is competing, but instead inspiring each other and supporting each other and celebrating each other in that. Yeah. And whenever I sit next to a very inspiring and beautiful couple, I love to know where it all began. How did you make your presence known to this gorgeous
Well, listen, I had seen her at the gym, and she was with someone. And my friend and I were like, how? The maths is not mathing. How did...
They don't look like a couple.
Yeah, like how, fam? Like, make it made sense, ne? So we're like, fine, cool, leave it. I saw her again a couple of times. Didn't ever say hi to her, didn't know who she was. And then a mutual friend of ours actually posted her on her Instagram story and tagged. So I was like, oh, let me...
That's who she is.
That's who she is. And I just, I went into her profile and... DM.
Did you slide in the DM?
I slid.
And then Chantal, your side of the story is that you decided then to friend zone him.
Yes.
How then did the relationship grow from you friend zoning him to now you guys are husband and wife?
Okay, firstly, I was not friend zoned.
You were friend zoned.
This was a mutual friend zoning.
Let's just get that right. To deny that part, but I mean, only I would know the truth, right? Because I'm the friend zoner. So it took a while because I was trying to find myself then, and bumped into this hunk, and obviously irresistible at the time, but I just knew that the timing wasn't right. I needed to work on myself, and so friend zoned, but we used to see each other like once a month because at the time he was working on 2 shows and my schedule was hectic, doing personal training and working in the gym, etc. So yeah, we would see each other once a month, but those dates were like, oh my goodness, he was just like, he ticked all my boxes.
Is he romantic?
He is.
I am.
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't convincing. I am.
No, he is.
I am.
I love
he is. I would say I'm the romantic one, though.
Yeah, no, she is. Yeah, for sure.
Stunning. Now, your journey has been so inspirational. I know being able to see the inception of the relationship all the way now to you both have decided to make the leap and you're moving to Cape Town. Business, pleasure, both?
Both. Actually, the intention was business. My intention for coming to Cape Town was really to explore the market this side.
Yeah.
I mean, as you would know, it's Joburg and Cape Town is completely different.
Yeah.
And I found it challenging to come to Cape Town as compared to Joburg, where my experience in Joburg after many years in the industry is like I've got relationships with casting directors, producers. You know, it's there's a familiarity there. And Cape Town, it was like no one knows who you are. They don't, you know what I mean? So it was like almost starting from the beginning again, which was nice in a way because I was fresh faced to them, and also challenging because now it's like, okay, cool, let's grind again.
You have to build that relationship.
Build that relationship again, which has been going well so far. So, and also the pleasure part of it is just Cape Town is a beautiful city. I really enjoy being here. It's a breath of fresh air from the hustle and bustle of Johannesburg. So, yeah.
And I suppose there is synchronicity within Cape Town activities for your wellness platform. Yeah. You're able to take hikes, meditate on the beach. I love it for both of you. Now, you guys had the most fairy tale, beautiful start to your relationship, and you sealed the deal with the wedding. Tell us all about that.
Our wedding actually took place during lockdown. Yeah. We were under restrictions at the time, and so we could only have 50 people at our wedding. It was small and intimate, but it was so special, and it was honestly the most beautiful thing. I couldn't have planned a better wedding. So, yeah, wedding of my dreams, actually.
Guys, I cannot wait to spend the rest of the show with you. We're getting you both in the kitchen. Someone has a sweet tooth, someone is more savory. We're balancing the scales here. Just keep comfortable, and thank you so much for sharing your love with us.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talking about romance on social media, we would like to know whether it's a date night with someone special, wink wink, pizza with friends, or just a quiet night in. How will you be celebrating Valentine's Day? Post your comments, and please do remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of them. See you after the break.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, relationships form the fabric of our lives. It is the cornerstone of human experiences. It shapes our emotions, well-being, and our sense of belonging. Registered counselor and psychology supervisor Sadia Southgate is here to unpack the importance of human relationships. Welcome back to the Loft, Sadia.
Thank you so much.
I love that term, human relationships, because with the advent of AI and with cyber relationships, we almost have to differentiate what is an online relationship and what's a human relationship. Can you unpack that more for me?
Yes, of course. You know, when we look at human relationships, it is connections that we have with different people, connection by blood, connection by association, and even connection by emotional and even professional that we have in our different work environments as well. But I would say that human relationships are important because it helps us, you know, to connect with other people, but also connect essentially with ourselves, and it helps us to almost resolve conflict, but also to recognize certain faults and even issues that we have within ourselves. But essentially, I believe that human relationships is a basic human need.
Yes, absolutely. So in 2024, I'm sure in your practice, a lot of people come in and they're either discussing their relationship with themselves or their relationship with themselves in relation to others. How has that changed for you in the last few years, you know, when we look at so many relationships being formed online?
Essentially, I believe that the relationship is better when the individual is better. So yes, we are learning and growing about ourselves, but there's the core relationship that we look at, and that is first and foremost the ones that we build with our families, you know. Okay. And for most people, that could be not just the first and core relationship, but it's the strongest relationship that we do build with our family and with our siblings as well. But you have romantic relationships, and these are our partners that we are attracted to, but then you also get friendships as well, and these are people that's not blood related. Yes. But essentially people that we choose to interact with and people we spend our time with. Then you've got your personal and even professional relationships as well. And essentially that comes down to people that you see on a regular basis, people you interact with, you work with, and also just essentially from the build a professional relationship with.
Yes. So you talk about the nucleus first, which is the people that you are most intimate with, starting with your family, and then it goes out and out like that onion layer. But would you agree that the most important relationship you are going to have is the relationship with yourself?
Yes, I believe that when I'm, being the best version of myself in the relationship, that the relationship essentially grows as well. That's what it comes down to, is I get to grow, my partner gets to grow, and effectively we get to grow together as well, because if I'm insecure in my relationship, it's going to filter down into other relationships as well, or if I'm insecure within myself, that's going to filter as well. But essentially when it comes to just navigating, through our self-discovery, I know that I'm insecure, so I'm not envious or competitive towards my partner or my work colleagues, my friendship circles as well. It's more of I celebrate their strengths, I look at my strengths and how I contribute that within the different relationships that I have with people. And essentially that's what it comes down to, is how am I secure? Because when I'm insecure in my relationship, it filters down to other relationships.
I really love that you've mentioned that, and I'd love to unpack that even more. So it's so easy to become envious. It's so easy to feel competitive. It's so easy to feel like you're not good enough. How does one develop a healthy relationship with oneself so that you don't feel envious when it comes, to your partner or your friendship circle or your peers at work?
Yeah, I would basically start with asking simple questions like, what am I grateful for today? What are my strengths? Instead of, amplifying my weaknesses, but looking at what am I good at, and in the different aspects of my relationship, like what is my strengths in my personal relationships? What are my strengths in my working environment? What are my strengths within my family? And in that way, I focus on those strengths. I amplify that instead of magnifying my weaknesses, because envy and hatred is such a big thing in our society today. So it's very easy to become competitive, because now you see things on social media and it triggers an insecurity within yourself. So it's important to constantly be self-aware, because that self-awareness will kind of tell you whether you have a good or a bad relationship with yourself.
I love that. And you talk about, comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. We are on the brink of Valentine's Day. It's also a day that's highlighted for some as not being in a relationship, or being in a relationship and not having a successful one. If one is in the midst of a relationship that they're navigating at the moment and it's not going too well, but they really want to try and make it work because it's so much easier to walk away from that, what would your advice be?
My advice would be graceful towards yourself. Most importantly, when you are going through a heartbreak or disappointment, notice what your conversation is like with yourself, because sometimes I think as human beings, if something don't work, we give up and we don't try again. So the important thing is to try again and keep trying, because I believe that every relationship, whether it's with our families, with our friends, it's seasonal as well. Sometimes we outgrow it, and just because we're outgrowing it, it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with us or the other individual. But essentially, it's about allowing myself to grow in the relationship, looking at what went wrong and how can I improve within my next relationship, but also allowing others to grow as well, because sometimes we just, look at ourselves, and vice versa, we look at other people and we just are judgmental and make assumptions and run with that, which is quite a killer. But essentially, it's about allowing each other to grow and extending grace. That's so important, because when I'm not my best self, what are my conversations like?
Extending grace. Thank you so much. As we've explored the importance of human relationships, it's just as important to navigate conflicts with care. Later on, Sadia will share a few tips to resolve conflict, and we'll see you in a bit.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
At this pharmacy, specifically the Katu pharmacy, we have patients that doesn't necessarily have the cash flow to always go to a doctor, so we do try to go the extra mile to help them without them actually going to the doctor. In South Africa, I think we need to really focus on community. We need to help each other, serve each other. We need to look out for each other, because that's all we have. So the staff at Katu pharmacy, it's like a family, and I know it's a cliche, but we really are. When I was new here, everyone helped out, and they were like, here's a couch and there's this and you can go to this place. So it's really like a family. We have this inside joke. Pharmacies are basically like your psychologist. You come and you just tell them everything, and we are here to listen. We are here to help. If you need a shoulder to cry on, we will probably cry with you. We want them to feel safe. This must be a safe space for them.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram, OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Welcome back. With tomorrow being Valentine's Day, we want you to pull out all the stops because we all know that there is nothing more impressive than someone who knows their way around a kitchen. So this afternoon, we are showing you how to make a double cream custard and caramel tart that will undoubtedly have you winning your love's heart.
Balisa, you know the biggest thing for me today is about making sure this guy stays in the husband zone, because we all know about the friend zone and all those other zones he's been, time zones, husband zone.
Little tricky.
So I'm just here trying to help a brother, you know?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
But he did mention to me that he's got a sweet tooth, so we're going to be doing something very nice and creamy, velvety, but also very delicious. And it starts off with our Bliss double cream custard. And I don't know if you've ever tasted a double cream custard. You might have tasted it any kind, but this is the star of our show today, Balisa.
Lovely. Well, I want you both just to have it in its purest form. Do me?
Yes, my darling.
My entire taste buds are dancing, and Bohang, I know yours are too.
No, mine are, I can't even talk.
I can see. Bohang, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. We're putting together a lover's type of recipe. Are you good in the kitchen at all?
I am, actually. Very recently, I've started just for some reason being inspired to cook.
Yeah?
Try different recipes, try different meals, and I'm really enjoying myself in the kitchen, yeah.
Bravo! Look at you. So that apron fits extremely well.
Yeah.
So I've got some caramel, and since you say you are ready to get all action and busy,
Yes.
I've added some of our bloomed gelatin. And what bloomed gelatin is in essence just some dry granules from the gelatin that we've added some water to, and it's soaked up all of that.
Gotcha.
That's gone into our cream, and as we know, gelatin helps to thicken and solidify, you know, give us that jelly texture in our food. So I'm going to ask you just to perhaps just stir it up for us, whisk it up to make sure that those granules dissolve beautifully. And in the meantime, I'm going to add in here about 2 cups of our Clover Bliss double cream custard. And the reason I've also just whisked up that caramel is just to make sure that it's nice and smooth when I work everything in together.
Lovely. What do we want to see at the end of the day?
The best part about it, Balisa, is that because we've already bloomed the gelatin, we don't really need much. We just want to make sure we don't see any granules at the bottom there. Would you say it's dissolved?
I would say it's dissolved, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. I can agree with you. It definitely has been dissolved. So what we do now is we're going to be setting our custard. We're going to add the cream into it. And as you can see, we've made sure that the caramel has also been dissolved in there. Bohang, do you want to just add that to our mixture here?
What am I adding? The caramel?
You're adding the caramel into here.
The mixture.
But Balisa, I do also need you to get onto the base for us.
I mean, for me, you know, I am a texture kind of person. I love dishes and meals that are full of texture. And as much as a lovely, soft, almost heavenly and cloud-like tart is delicious, but I also love the crunch of a base. So I'm on base duty right now. We've already got crumpled up biscuits. You can use whatever biscuits you have at home. I'm not about to get you out into the grocery stores. Whatever you've got, it will work. It is delicious and it smells incredible.
Follow our recipe. It is on afternoonexpress.co.za to see the exact measurements for everything here. But you do have the freedom, you know, to move around and add what you like, add more, add little. But remember that the recipe is the base. You want to follow that. So thanks, Balisa. You've done the major goods for us. All we need now is Bohang. Do you think you would be able to pour this baby into that tart and make sure she looks as glamorous as the one on the other side?
I could. It feels like a large. It feels like a large responsibility for some reason, but I mean, I could go for it. Yes.
What is your favorite thing to cook, and are you good with desserts at all?
No, actually, desserts is something. Baking in general is something that I haven't actually explored yet. I've mainly been doing your steaks. Chicken meals. I'm trying to go into seafood as well. That's another area that I really want to explore. But mainly your meat dishes, your like I said, chicken and steak and lamb.
Well, sir, we have given you the perfect thing to try tomorrow night. And quickly, have you planned tomorrow night yet? She's not around. Have you planned tomorrow night? It's Valentine's.
I have planned. I've got. Is that good? Yeah, I've got something special. This actually is going to help me. This might actually see.
So get your hands on this Bliss double cream custard and make this heavenly tart. You and your partner are going to love it. Trust me, we do. You can get the full recipe online at afternoonexpress.co.za. Yummy.
Introducing South Africa's first ever double cream custard. Indulge and double the creaminess with Bliss double cream vanilla flavored custard.
Oh my goodness, that tart looks delicious. So navigating relationships in high-pressure environments can be particularly challenging, but building and maintaining positive relationships is a vital part of any organization. I'm so excited to welcome back HR business partner, keynote speaker, and comedian Tatu Mabalani, who's here to chat to us about building relationships better at work. Welcome back, Tatu.
Thank you very much, Loretta.
So you were saying earlier on that you love people,
yes,
which means you love relationships.
Yes.
Speak to me about how important is the working relationship?
It's vital. So relationships are like the cornerstone of us. We show social beings as humans, and building good relationships is good for example, helping us navigate situations when they're tough, helps us deal with life and laugh at life, because life can get a bit difficult sometimes. Yes. And we spend 80% of our time at work.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely vital that we build positive relationships at work, because we spend so much time there.
And isn't it fascinating how your working relationship can also impact how you feel at home? Because one doesn't just switch off, right? If you're going through something that's really challenging at work, you don't just switch off when you go home. You take that with you, and vice versa. Whatever's going on at home, you take that with you to work. So how does one, as someone that's been involved in HR, how does one form a healthy relationship with oneself in relation to your colleagues that you're not getting along with?
So it's about I think understanding self.
Yeah.
And understanding that we're all experiencing life as we experience life. Life throws things at us. So it's about understanding self and respecting others. So always trying to consider how it feels for the other person if you are not, for example, if you don't understand self and if you don't heal from whatever that's bothering you, if it's at home or other places, you bring that with you to work. So it's about being conscious of what you do and how you actually show up.
So Tata, you're speaking my language, but give me an example. Someone that is unaware and then having issues at work, but completely unaware. How do we bring awareness into that so we are aware of what you speak about?
All right, cool. So it's about boundaries. For example, say that happens to somebody at work and then that person is not aware. It's about the person receiving the thing to make the person aware with kindness, with love, and just go, this is how this makes me feel. So it's about something called ways of working. It's an acronym called WOW. It's almost like rules of engagement.
Okay, this is ways of working.
Yes, ways of working. This is what this makes me feel when you do that. And I would prefer you to do that rather. And then the person then gets to go, oh, my behavior actually impacts you in this way.
Yes.
So they are aware of how that plays out, and how the person can actually assist themselves at home or outside work is by finding ways to regulate their parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically meditating or exercising. So give yourself love so that you can actually be fine at work and in your relations. Yeah,
I like that. So kind of like responding to a situation that happens at work as opposed to reacting to a situation. And what I love what you said about bringing it back home and going, what you said has made me feel this way. So instead of attacking the person, you go, that has made me feel a certain way. And I think when we speak to people that way, you're not coming from a place of attack, but rather saying, I take responsibility for the way I'm feeling, and when you said such and such, it made me feel this way.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, which is like, it's sort of like it relaxes the situation.
Yes.
Whereas if you go, you did this, and then the person gets defensive and then it sparks.
Yeah. Give me some tips as to how, things have changed so much in a really positive way in terms of diversity and inclusion in the workspace, but that doesn't necessarily translate to awareness or knowledge, right? How does one go about navigating the workspace and considering sensitivity when it comes to inclusivity and diversity?
I think it will be the same as that ways of working, like being aware, self-aware, and then being aware what role you play within situations. For example, with our history, political history in our country, with apartheid and whatever, coming into workplaces, you would get a lot of females, a lot of black people being disrespected because of our history, right?
Yes.
And then my job as an HR professional is to make others, my clients, aware that, yes, this was a political background or history. However, this is now a company and we're all operating under one umbrella, so it's about respect.
Yes.
So I think I lead on values and respect, and that helps navigate that space and treating people with dignity.
Yes.
And that's it.
I love that. So 2 things I want to comment on that. I think company culture is important, right?
Absolutely.
What is the ethos of the company and the layers of respect that we impart with our employees? And also further on, I think it's important to educate yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
Just simply as a human being so that you can be a better employee and peer at your job.
Yeah. And also company policy and values of like companies go through cultural exercises where they go, okay, this is how we show up as a company. For example, I work for Woolworths Financial Services, and we've just been through a process of establishing what our culture is.
Okay.
And then from that, then the values are then established, and then we hold each other accountable of how we behave based on what we said our culture is and our values. So it makes it a bit like less muddy, because everybody knows, okay, this is our culture, this is what we said, this is what we agreed on in terms of values. So it makes it very nice to navigate and play.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. It's always such a delight having you in studio. Building strong relationships at work is not just a professional asset, but a key to personal and organizational success. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Now, conflict is a natural part of any relationship. That is why how we approach and resolve conflict plays a significant role in the overall outcome of various relationships. Sadia Southgate is back to give us advice on effective communication, resolution strategies, and understanding disagreements. I love that you're going to give us a host of tips. Where do we start?
I think essentially what it comes down to, is open and honest, effective communication. And I specifically said open because sometimes I can be an effective communicator, but that does not necessarily mean that I'm open. So it's being transparent with your partner, with your kids, with your family members as well, and honest about your thoughts and your feelings. So in that way, you are communicating what it is that you're feeling. What it also comes down to, is trying to stay calm when you are communicating your thoughts and your feelings, is keep your emotions in check. There's also about, especially for couples, is choosing the right time and the right place. Couples that maybe choose the wrong place, for example, public spaces to kind of resolve conflict, which is
not a good idea.
Don't do that at all, because it also attracts attention to them as well, and it's not a good look on the relationship as well. So I would say essentially be at home in a safe environment that is good for you and your partner. And one thing that I know that's been helpful for me in my marriage as well, when there is conflict, we hold each other's hands.
So Sadia, I love all of that, and I love the impact and the idea and the practice for holding a partner's hand. But I also want to address, when we start with conflict, there's obviously some anger that's happening, and the last thing you want to do is hold someone's hand, right?
Yes.
Speak to me about being open. Let's unpack that word. What does open mean?
Open means transparency.
And would you say that it also means that it doesn't matter what the next person says, I'm open to receiving everything that they have to say, and I'm not going to react to it?
Precisely.
Yes.
And again, it also comes down to when you are open, you're listening with the intent to understand, instead of listening to respond.
To react,
yes. And we do that. Sometimes I'm already, I have a response in my head of what I'm going to say, but listening and being open is about understanding what that individual is saying or your partner is saying, so that I can then eventually respond and make sense of what you're saying. So one thing I do even in couples therapy in the sessions is saying that I hear you and this is what I understand you saying. So correct me if I'm wrong. And that way you are being open and transparent in the communication.
Yes, I love that. And then you speak of timing as well. Sometimes in conflict what happens is someone takes that opportunity to bring up a whole lot of other stuff that happened in the past, and that timing is perhaps not the right time. What I also love about therapy is that couples should be engaging in therapy all the time and not just when there's a problem.
Yes.
So when you speak about timing, you're saying do it in a healthy space that is conducive to what's going to come out, not in a public space where you then become aware of yourself. What next?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because it's like sometimes we always want to say exactly what we're thinking and what we're feeling. But I've learned, even just with being married and just experiencing life, and even in couples therapy as well, it's saying that I don't need to say everything that I'm feeling, because sometimes
you don't have to bring out the filing cabinet.
Exactly, because sometimes things are going well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, create an elephant out of something that I could have just, dealt with, because sometimes that comes off as an insecurity.
Yes.
It's something that I need to process and deal with on my own. So it's about looking for that gap and that space and saying, right now, even though I feel uncomfortable about the conflict that has arisen, and perhaps it's even just thoughts, and it's assumptions, and it's things that maybe not even be true. So eventually then waiting until you're at home and there is, safe environment and our emotions aren't built up, because that's what happens. We first wait until our emotions build up, and we know this when it comes to therapy is when your emotion builds up, it worsens over time. So address it firsthand so that you can also release any uncomfortable feelings that you are sitting with.
Great. What are some of the other tips that you have? I know that off set we spoke about compromising.
And also just, taking responsibility and accountability. Because if I've done and said something wrong and I was responsible, for causing an issue within the relationship, that I need to call it out and also say that I apologize. And that words in itself is such an important thing. Is saying I apologize for hurting you. Instead of making it about me, I'm essentially fighting the problem and not a person. And a lot of times that happens in couples where we're fighting the person and not the problem, and it's more about what you did made me feel. So let's diffuse that and say, this made me feel a certain way. So essentially, I would also say, letting go of the I know it all and I know everything, because these are different families, these are different couples, it comes from different backgrounds. So it's remaining teachable. Essentially, when you look back, it's a growing experience for both you and your spouse.
Thank you so much, Sadia. So remember to communicate openly, focus on solutions, and prioritize the well-being of your relationships. Now over to Pali and Jay.
Sibling relationships are very important. While friendships come and go, we're stuck with our siblings. So this relationship is often one of the longest relationships of a person's life. Joining us today is our very own Chef Jay and his lovely sister, who we've seen, and for the first time, may I please introduce Kim Miller-Weber. Girl, let's see that ring. So Jay, I know that Kim is older, but can you just tell us a little bit about the dynamic of your relationship, and as a younger brother, what this means to you?
No, I'm gonna cry.
You are, I know.
Well, we're 2 years apart. Kim's older. We also have an older brother, Jermaine. But Kim and I were, we were always really close. Growing up when we were little, she was a little bit of a menace. She used to torment me as a baby brother all the time, and I just wanted to be in her gang. Like, I just wanted to be with her friends. I just wanted to be like her. We've just, become even closer now, living in Cape Town together. Nice to have that support as with my sister. And we are, do you remember that show, Sister Sister?
I do, of course.
So whenever I tag things on Instagram, I always say Sister Sister, because we are, a lot of people ask, are we twins? What's the age gap? Because we look so alike. But
I know Zuraida, it was her first time meeting you today, Kim, and her first question was, are they twins? You guys are inseparable, and it's the bond that just keeps getting stronger and stronger, and one that I just absolutely admire. I mean, Kim, how has the dynamic been for you? As the person who came first, his day one, how has that been, and what are some of your fondest memories with Jay?
So I was a bit of a menace growing up. I remember my mom used to make these delicious rooibos tea bottles for my brother. So I'd lock myself inside the room, drink the bottle, and then say, Mom, he's done.
Kim.
Imagine that. Imagine. I didn't even know that.
But now, as you're older, it's so like you have a best friend, like, and there's nothing that I would do without telling my brother, like, he's one of the first people that I want to call with good news or bad news, or we laugh together, we cry together. So there's never like a lonely moment. If I'm in trouble, I'll call him, and vice versa. So God bless me with a best friend, and we'll just continue to be best friends forever.
So what are some of the arguments, if you guys even argue, that you kind of have?
To be honest, Pali, we don't we actually don't argue a lot. I think we have a few different parenting styles for our little sausage dogs. So she will check me if I'm not trimming his nails, if I'm not grooming him correctly.
Yeah.
It's usually just, everyday things. But what I will say is that Kim is someone who deals with things head on. I'm very much the opposite. When I, am dealing with conflict or in a space where I feel like I need to confront someone about how I feel, I sort of just isolate myself. Yeah. So Kim has always supported me, and she's always been my voice. Growing up, she would always fight my battles or say, Jay,
stand up.
You got to stand up for yourself more. Yeah. So that's what I've really, come to learn from my sister is that, I believe that there is a lot of power in silence sometimes, but sometimes it is important to stand up. And so I think because we are so different in that respect, we balance each other, because sometimes she does need a bit of a softer touch when she deals with situations.
Yeah, I know, I get that a lot. If I were to ask you both, as different as you are, to describe the other sibling in just one word, what would that word be?
You go first.
I think sensitive.
Yeah. You are, friend. Sensitive, that's a good one.
It's so difficult, because how do you, sum up 32 years of knowing someone in one word? But I would say just love.
Yeah.
Love, kindness, ambition, ambitious,
But it had to be one word.
Oh, okay.
I would say for both of you, Kim, you're resilient.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you resilience. Jay, love.
Oh, thank you, friend.
Light. I love and light. He is a softie.
We have to give a shout out to our parents, because we wouldn't be here without them. And I think we've both come from such a solid home. So we were set up for success from the get-go, and we've done it all together.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, on that note, I just want to say, Kim, congratulations again on your incredible nuptials. May you and your husband and your little puppy dog, who I love, they are absolute forces to be reckoned with on the promenade. Now, there's no greater bond than one between siblings. And may your bond continue to grow from strength to strength. And we'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now indulge in this romantic twist on the classic Caesar salad. This chicken schnitzel Caesar salad is not only delicious, but it's also simple to prepare, making it an ideal meal to set the mood for a memorable evening with your loved ones. Chantal,
yes,
you are everything. Wellness, inspiration, motivation, and you're in the gym almost daily. Does this seem like something you could love to indulge in?
Definitely. It's actually one of my favorites as well.
Me too.
Yeah, good source of protein.
Yeah. So, Dumi, how do we put this together at home?
It is very simple. It is very easy. And I think the fact that you can actually make it at home makes it even a little bit cheaper to do. So that's what I'm all about. I'm all about saving those bucks. So we start off with our butterfly chicken. And what a butterfly chicken or chicken breast basically is a chicken breast that we've cut lengthways open, giving you a nice flatter chicken breast. We've seasoned our flour with whatever flavors you like. We've used some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some paprika. I've done the same with our breadcrumbs. And we start the dredge off. This is a technique I've loved to share because it helps with not having those lumpy fingers that make you look like a gremlin. So all you do is make sure one hand goes into the dry and then use a different hand for the wet so that you don't have those sticky fingers.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Correct. So
because that build-up is truly something in your fingertips.
And it doesn't look glamorous at all. And if it's something you're trying to prepare for someone, they look at you and they're like, does she have her life together? You know what I'm saying? So then this is basically what I'm going to continue to do. And now we've added it into our breadcrumbs. And now that my other hand is still dry, I can now cover it with the rest of the crumbs. And look at that, guys. Wutlin gumnandi easy. Now I'm going to fry these babies on a nice little fryer. I'm going to obviously
I was going to say, step back. How hot is it?
It's not too hot. And if you're worried about actually burning your fingers, you're welcome to use a tong. But you know, chefs
nice.
and asbestos fingers, you know, it's not a thing for us. But a salad is not complete without a dressing.
Yes.
And that's where you two ladies come in. Bale, you can perhaps just take out our plain yogurt for us because that's also one of the ingredients going into this.
Beautiful. So let me dive into our fridge. Oh, there it is.
While you do that, Chantal, I'm going to just give you an idea of what we've got in front of you because you guys are going to make the dressing for me. We've got some anchovy paste, some mustard, as well as some minced garlic. We've got some lemon juice or lemons that we're going to just juice up for us. You can actually just start adding all the ingredients together. We've also added some mayonnaise as well. And as you know, a chicken Caesar salad does require some parmesan there, one for garnish, but also for the dressing itself. So some people even like to shave it nicely and have those big chunks at the end.
I do. Yeah. I love the big chunks in my chicken Caesar salad. I mean, Chantal, for yourself as a wellness queen, how important is diet and preparing your food beforehand?
Oh, 100%. It's so important. We actually say that in order to achieve any results, you need 80% nutrition and 20% exercise only. So this is actually where abs are made, in the kitchen. So I love what's happening here.
Tell me about it. I've been trying, Chantal, and hopefully I'm making you proud today. I'm going to go in with our yogurt. Dumi, tell me when enough is enough.
I think that's fine because we also still want it to be slightly runny so that it goes over everything. But for me, the reason I tend to like my dressings a little on the thicker side is because it actually coats the stuff. Whatever it is your ingredients are. If it's too runny, you find that it ends up just running off the ingredients you're using. But here, it looks great. You're going to add the lemon juice that's going to help in thinning it out. And then once I'm done with our chicken here, which you can either do in a pan fry or you can do in your air fryer or in the oven, I'm going to slice this baby up and that salad comes together with the dressing, some romaine lettuce, and that is a protein-powered, delicious, tasty Valentine's salad for everyone to enjoy.
Delicious. And one thing that I do love about a Caesar salad, it is so dynamic, it is tasty, it is fulfilling, and it is something that is good for the waistline. As you said, 80% does come in your diet, and that is what it is all about. Do you see yourself trying a Caesar salad like this at home?
Definitely. I think that this is great, and my husband's going to be so proud of me when I cook this up for him tomorrow.
Beautiful. Okay, you can pull that on. I think it is ready to go. And do me any last tips and tricks?
Any last tips and tricks? You can also just make the dressing ahead of time if you want it chilled. Make it, put it in the fridge, and when it's ready to serve, whip it out, drizzle it over your salad, and we're good to go.
Lovely. Let's drizzle it out. Let's put it on. It smells incredible in this kitchen, and yes, salads can smell delicious too. Now get your hands on this recipe. Head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. This looks good and smells even better. Well done.
Guys, that looks absolutely amazing. So we're going to end the show with a romantic song by our friend Byron Steve McKeith. After winning the Theatre Cup Theatre Award for the Most Promising Student 2022, Byron went on to work internationally, performing for various international guests in Menorca, Spain, completing a total of 152 solo shows with great success. Welcome back to The Loft, Byron.
Thank you so much.
152, that's amazing.
It's crazy, eh?
That's incredible. What have you been doing in the last, what is it, a year?
Yeah.
Yes.
So just got back recently, was working in Menorca once again, and I did a little cruise line as well this year during the winter in Finland and Sweden. And now I'm back on holiday for a little bit here in SA and just enjoying what SA has to offer.
Feeling lots of joy and purpose in your life?
Of course.
I can see that. I can see that. So you're going to sing for us.
Yes.
What have you decided on?
So today I decided to do Solo Mio.
Okay. Why?
And it speaks about joy, happiness, and love, of course. And as we are celebrating love this month, I think it was suited to perform it for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
I love that. Joy, happiness, and love. The world needs more of that. Take it away.
Thank you.
When I first saw you with your smile so tender, my heart was captured and my soul surrendered. I've spent a lifetime waiting for the right time. Now that you're near, the time is here at last. It's now or never. Come hold me tight, kiss me, my darling, be mine tonight. Tomorrow will be too late. It's now or never, my love, won't wait. Che bella cosa, una giornata e sole, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta, dell'aria fresca fare già una festa. Che bella cosa, una giornata e sole. Manda tu sole, più bello in me, oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te. Oh sole mio, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
What a way to build up to Valentine's Day tomorrow, and what a voice.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of which, on social media, we wanted to find out from you, what are your plans for Valentine's Day tomorrow? Are you having a little date with a special somebody?
I hope so. I like receiving on Valentine's Day.
Me too. I mean, I tried to ask my fiance, babe, what are the plans? Like trying to get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
He was like, that's my job.
Yeah.
Nice. So I also don't know what I'm up to. What are you getting up to?
Definitely doing something special. I'm kind of excited, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good one.
I love it.
It's a leap year. It should be a good one.
Ooh. I mean, Bohang, I tried to get a little something from you, and I know you've got your lady next to you, and we all love a good surprise, but without spoiling it, do you guys have any plans?
It's going to be an experience, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, we love adventure, so...
I'll put it that way. That's all I'll say for now.
Experiential Valentine's Day.
That's exactly right.
Those are the memorable ones.
Yes.
Absolutely. Listen, these gentlemen just put the pressure all the way up. I hope you at home have a very special Valentine's Day planned, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with your sibling, your brother, your sister, or whether it's with your family. Please do remember to catch the repeat of the show on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. But for now, we'd like to say stay safe and see you next Tuesday. Goodbye. Bye. Mwah.
Double cream plain yogurt from Clover. Just plain amazing.
Another feel-good production.